everybody, welcome back to another CRN broadcast here tonight. We're at a new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Track length is going to be 1.52 miles. Track temp going to be a cool 84 degrees. Track temp is actually going to be 99 degrees. Excuse me. Air temp will be 84 degrees, partly cloudy with a 6-mile-an-hour wind. After the new refig the new configuration of the Atlanta Motor Speedway, you're going to see a lot more bump draft type racing, more pedal to the floorboard, and more side-by-side racing. You can see it there. Everybody's still kind of up in the air with everything going on. Qualifying going on this time by everybody out there getting some laps under their belt for the starting order here tonight. Before we get everything on and going, I want to give a big shout out to Mardone PC for coming on board with the NIS iRacing Truck Series here on Core Racing Network. My name is Dylan McDonald for CRN, and I will be bringing you the live coverage here tonight. Hopefully, these drivers can get all the way in and through this race with minimal cautions. Like I said, it is kind of another plate track style of racing here tonight. Again, there are stages in this league, so the first couple stages are going to be, I believe it is lap, look at it real quick here. So we're looking at stages tonight are going to be lap 30, lap 60, and then from 60 all the way to the end of 135 laps. You only get 4 tire sets in the pits, so that's going to be something that they're going to have to pay attention to as well before they get done with the race. Looks like everybody is done with qualifying here tonight, so we're going to go ahead and switch on over to the qualifying order. 13 drivers out here. I'm going to actually look and see. 14 drivers actually, as John Ward electing not to take a lap time here to start off today's race. So far, it is Derek Runge sitting on the top spot, Zach Henry sitting in P number 2, Steve Knight sitting at P number 3, Eli Childs in 4th, and Larry McDonald rounding out your top 5. Brian Whitney, Robert Lawrence, Ted Pullen in 8th, Blake Tidwell in 9th, James Harris is going to round out your top 10. Clayton White, Austin Derbyshire, Brad Thacker, and John Ward rounding out your 14 car field. Pace car getting all these drivers lined up into pit lane. You can start to see everybody out there doing what they need to do. So far, nobody that I've clicked. So there we go. Looking at the driver of the number 79, Steve Knight, starting off tonight in the P number 3 position as everybody gets loaded on in here. 135 laps is the distance here tonight. Definitely going to be a long race. Can these drivers keep it clean? I know the net code for the trucks is something fierce, but these drivers have been around each other a lot longer than a lot of the other guys in the officials, so we're going to see some nice, tight, clean racing. Stage number 1 concludes at lap number 35, so once we get that and we see who the stage winner is, I'll go ahead and pull in the stage winner, get their thoughts on how stage 1 goes, and go from there. Getting everybody lined on up here. Pace car get ready to roll out of pit lane, and everybody will end up following the pace car on out. See all the beautiful trucks getting up to speed. I believe they're going to do 2 pace laps, maybe even 1. and then we'll see the drivers go green here for 135 laps. You see the new configuration here, all darker asphalt. The red and white line. It's not going to be a tire conservative race as it would be for the old configuration of Atlanta. No fast repairs for these drivers, so one wrong hit to the outside wall, that could be their race. Going to be sitting in pit lane for about 35 to 40 minutes to get that truck fully repaired. But it's going to be Derek Runge in the number 42 and Zach Henry in the number 77 going to lead these drivers off to the start of the green flag racing. Again, I want to give a big shout out to everybody out there that is paying. Want to give a big shout out to everybody out there that is watching along with me as pace cars in this time. Derek Runge has the start of the race. Has to go in the restart zone. We are underway here for 135 laps at Atlanta. You can see already people trying to make their moves down to the inside. Eli Childs, top to bottom. And here we go, the 77, no help right now. You can see everybody kind of down towards the inside, wants to keep it down there. But Zach Henry doing what he can to keep it side by side with Derek. To see how much more they can take here is now the 77 has some help with the number 15 of Ted Poland and James Harris. James Harris already all the way up to P number 5, so already up 5 positions from where he has started and already side by side all the way through this track. It's going to be racing just like Daytona last week. Daytona was an absolute phenomenal race if you didn't watch it yet. 77 going to leave the top side, go down to the bottom. He's going to take over the race lead, and he's going to get credited for leading this lap. As James Harris still trying to make his way up towards the top. Zach Henry leads lap number 2. Still side by side. You can see Robert Lawrence back there in the number 5 machine just trying to take his time, wants to be there towards the end. He's going to drop all the way to the back. He's down at 6 positions from where he has started. Larry McDonald's down at 6. Blake Tidwell is down at 5 in that Miami Dolphins number 35. Get a nice good look at that Miami Dolphins paint scheme as he's going to try to make his way towards the front. The number 44, Clayton White, on the outside trying to make something happen. And right now it's the point of the race where, okay, yes, it's still early. Lap number 4, definitely got to be more patient than what you want to be. You can see just how close these drivers really are relatively on the track and through the broadcast. We're still making it the way they need to go. Outside lane starting to get a little bit disorganized here. Maybe looking 4 wide. Or 3 wide, excuse me. John Ward got it up a little bit higher. But now he's going to dip it down to the inside. Now you got Larry McDonald and John Ward sitting next to each other. And I believe they have the red and white line rule. Not exactly sure. Kind of going to keep an eye on that. But at most tracks, if you do tend to go down below the apron, it is your job to make sure that you are clear when you come back up. So you're not going to see a lot of those drivers take the inside lane. Kind of want to keep it as clean as they possibly can. James Harris going to dip down to the inside, and already you can see only 3 trucks left on that high side. Everybody kind of disbanded. Doesn't want to be up there anymore. So the outside, you still have, looks like James Harris moves back on up to the top shelf. So now you got 4 trucks on the outside lane. You got James Harris. John Ward makes the move. Kind of making it close there. And the 15 going to dip down to the inside. James Harris goes all the way up to the outside wall. Almost makes contact with it, but keeps it off of the wall. But so far, so good. You can tell just how much, you get that run. You want to take it to the outside. right now would be a perfect time to see who would go with you and who wouldn't. See who your friends are. This is a place where the bump draft is your best friend. And you can see Brian Whitney stuck on the outside there, leading that outside train. Followed by James Harris, Austin Derbyshire, and Clayton White. Those four drivers still stuck on the outside. It looks like Clayton's got the chance to go down to the inside. He's not going to take it. The majority of the drivers, 10 drivers down on the inside, 4 on the out. And the lead has not changed. Top 3 has not changed either. Other than the start of the green flag, the 77 was able to get around the number 42 and take over the race lead. Let me give a big shout out to everybody out there that has followed along with CRN, liking, sharing, subscribing to CRN. Couldn't do it without all of you, as our 2-year anniversary is fastly approaching us. If you haven't already, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Share with your mom, your dad, your sister, your dog, your cat, your ferret, if you have one. A gerbil, a chinchilla, whatever you have, make sure they get in on the action, as we are still side by side. More traffic going up to the outside, so now you got a total of 5 trucks on the outside, 9 on the inside, and the number 42 going to take back the lead. If he gets clear, does he drop down to the inside? But he's not able to just yet. Still side by side for the race lead. That 79 not leaving the back bumper of that number 77 machine. Just a little bit of lift going into these corners, getting them kind of slowed up so that way they don't run over the car in front. As you can see there, everybody's side by side. Eli Child's making his way back up to the front. He's only down 2 positions from where he has started. Currently sitting at P number 5. Want to give a big shout out to Eli Childs for allowing CRN to come in and help broadcast this amazing league that has gone great so far, and hopefully everything goes on the up and up. We're only on week number 2 out of 36, so still lots more to go. 42 is going to be able to get clear of the number 77. He's going to drop down in front of Zach Henry. So what I'm seeing so far is everybody's getting clear of that bottom lane. They're going to move down to the inside as soon as they possibly can. Don't want to be stuck up there and not get all the way back on around. Brian Whitney now is the lead car on that outside lane, trying to make something happen. He's got the Toyota number 55, James Harris, pushing him. James Harris trying to get himself and Brian Whitney on up there, just not able to form the runs at the bottom lane we're able to get. Just don't know which line would be the preferred line to save a little bit of tire, if tire wear is a big deal. But still making it the best that they can. Front 4 are clear of the 2 wide battle going on, as Eli Childs able to get clear of Brian Whitney, but Brian Whitney not going to go down without a fight. That Team Conti.gg number 76 trying to make something work on that outside. They got Derbyshire trying to push them around. Now he's going to be side by side with Eli. So now that top lane starting to gain some momentum here. Just not able to get clear of Eli Childs in that number 9 machine. Everybody's still out here doing what they need to do, keeping it extremely clean. in being consistent. Larry McDonald down to the inside with, looks like teammate John Ward behind him. And the number 80 and the number 92. Running similar paint schemes on track. Since we've been talking about it, Brian Whitney was able to potentially get clear of Eli Childs there and take over P number 4. They're going to drift up high, give a little bit of room. Don't want to side draft too much. And there they go. Just like that, 20 laps is in the books for tonight's race. 10 more laps to go, and stage number 1 will be finished. But as it sits right now, it looks like where you want to be is going to be down to that inside. Inside is where you want to be normally at any track. We got a car in the wall. The 64 is going to go sliding down to the inside. A beautiful save by Austin Derbyshire. Could have lost it, but did it. But that's going to break up the crowd just a little bit. Austin going to dip in behind the number 5 machine of Robbie Lawrence. Move back on top here, so you got a 8-car breakaway, give or take. Yeah, 8-car breakaway. James Harris towards the back of this pack. And you have 6 cars down to the inside, 2 cars on the out. James Harris moved down to the inside to help Larry McDonald to keep up with his pack. But don't want to get too far. Don't want to lose the draft from everybody. And here comes Brian Whitney to the outside, battling for P number 2. 2 cars on the outside, trying to make it happen. The 42 get a little bit loose down on the inside. Had to correct it just a little bit. And that's going to help the number 76 get alongside, maybe. 42 of John Ward. 92, excuse me. John Ward's going to back out of helping Brian Whitney. He's going to dip down on the inside. Brian Whitney's going to be able to drop down there. John Ward going to move back up to the outside. Brian Whitney's going to be like, nah, man. You left me. I'm not going to go up there. Is move Brian Whitney up to P number 4, and there's a little bit of side draft from the number 92. He's going to slide up just a little bit. Give a little bit more room. Coming to complete lap number 23 onto lap number 24. Kind of a smaller field here tonight than it was last week. Missing a couple of trucks. Dustin Hall, Adam Benefield, Craig Jancic. Those are Alexander Russell, last week's race winner. Those are the people I know off the top of my head that are not here tonight. As John Ward, and now stuck on the outside, nobody to help. As Derek Runge is your race leader, you got a little bit of that apron. And that's something you don't really want to see, is a leader take the apron like that. Because they're going to be side by side towards the back. As Brian Whitney looking down the inside of Steve Knight. Steve Knight's going to shut the door there. All these drivers have the speed to get to the front. It's just being strategic as best as you possibly can to get your vehicle to the front. Now it's all single file for the top 9-ish trucks. James Harris is going to be the final truck. No. I believe Ted Pullen might be. Brad Thacker is going to be the final truck in this 9-truck breakaway. James Harris going to slip up to the outside. Thought maybe he was going to have some people with him, but no. James Harris going to drop all the way back to P number 9. As Larry McDonald going to move up to the outside along with his teammate in John Ward. He's got to hurry up, get that draft, get up to the number 92 machine and start pushing to see if they can advance their position as many positions as they can on lap number 28 here tonight. Larry going to drop down to the inside behind the number 9 of Eli Childs, the 15. Ted Pullen going to stick with John Ward for the time being. But how aggressive are they going to get for the stage win? Stages now being in effect. 10 for first, 9 for second, 8 for third, so on and so forth. Pretty much all the way down to 1 point. Lap number 30 started. Once they come around to take lap number 31, that's when the race control will throw the yellow flag. Zach Knight up to the outside. Is going to be a drag race to get the first stage of the night. Zach and Derek side by side. It's going to be Derek at the line by a slim margin. So Derek going to lead that lap and get the stage win. As once these drivers get caught back up to the pace car and get into pit lane, get all their stuff going, we'll have a little bit of a chat with our first stage winner of the night of the number 42 machine. If that's only for a stage win, I can only imagine what it's going to be like for a race win, side by side like that. Looking down to the YouTube chat, as always, good luck to all the drivers. Barry Kistler, one of the milestone supporters of CRN, was there when it started. Attends every single broadcast. Picks his favorite driver. And always gives a good luck to all the drivers. So we have Barry Kistler out there. Chad McGingley. What's up, Delbo? Chad is going very well up here in the broadcast booth. And then Marion Cornell. Good luck, Ted. And then Ricky Bobby. Let's go, Stephen Nice. So we got a lot of support from different drivers' families. Want to see them get their wins and stages. Drivers going into pit lane right now, getting their services done. I'm going to see exactly what all these, I would assume, 4 tires and fill it full of fuel. As looks like Robert Lawrence is going to beat everybody off of pit lane. Thought maybe Zach Henry got it, but no, it was Robert Lawrence getting the race win off of pit road. But while we have him going up to the pace car, going to try and find the number 42 machine. And I believe we did. Going to get a little bit of a talk with him here. We're now joined with our stage winner. There's going to be Derek Runge. Derek, kind of walk me through that first stage on what everybody was feeling out there and where the line was for you that worked out the best. Not sure what's going on with Derek's mic. May have just caught him off guard there for coming into the broadcast booth. But pace car doubling them on up already as going with the inside lane is going to be Robert Lawrence. So Robert going from the back to the front. He's going to be able to get a chance of having some clean air on that Team Conti.gg Martin PC number 5 machine. You got Zach Henry up on that outside, John Ward down to the inside, and Derek Runge on that outside. And then our top 5 is going to be the number 79 of Stephen Knight down there on that inside, and the number 79. Barry Kistler saying going with Zach Henry tonight. So now you got one of the drivers being picked for the race win here tonight. It's going to be the number 77. Pace car going to go down into pit lane this time by. Next stage is going to be lap number 60. 30 lap increments. Robert Lawrence going to lead these drivers off to the green flag. Restart zone is in effect, so once they get to that Geico restart zone coming up right here, they can start going. Green flag is in the air for the second time here tonight. First stage, clean and green. Robert Lawrence getting all the way up through the gears, kind of leaving the number 92 behind him. Not what he wanted to see. Wanted to see that number 92 all over that back bumper, but Robert Lawrence going to fight to the inside to keep that momentum going. 77 not able to get clear yet. 77 is Zach Henry going to be able to get clear this time by. May drop down to the inside to get clear. No. Looking like the outside's got the momentum on the restarts, and then you want to hurry up and drop down to the inside before the inside driver has a chance to get up towards the front. Is the 77 going to take the inside away? Move the 77 of Zach Henry back up to the race lead. Derek Runge now leading that outside lane. He's going to get clear of Zach Knight. But Zach Knight going to have the momentum down on the inside. So not clear just yet. But give that lap lead to the number 42 of Derek Runge. Top 6 side by side. Then you got one truck by his lonesome down on the inside. That's going to be the number 79. And then more 2x2 action followed behind him. As you may never know where you want to be at on this track. Kind of want to take your time. But when a big one strikes, do you want to be in the front, the middle, or the back? As they're still going. John Ward down on the inside making his moves. He's got his teammate Larry McDonald up on the outside. Kenny corner to him. Larry just can't get down to the inside to help the number 92 machine. Sitting behind the mid-pack missile number 56 of Brad Thacker. James Harris is going to be the second car on that outside lane. Robbie Lawrence is now going to be the third car on the inside. Larry McDonald making his way down to the inside. Stephen Knight had to check up just a little bit. I thought maybe there's going to be a little bit of a right rear hooking there, but no. Stephen's going to allow the number 80 machine to go down to the inside and to get along with teammates. Robbie Lawrence backing it up to the outside lane here. That's going to allow John Ward to get around him. So you got 2 trucks and then a little bit of a gap. And then 3 more on that outside. So a total of 5 trucks on the outside. Everybody else down on the inside. And everybody doing what they can to see what line is going to prevail. But it looks like it's going to be that inside. Going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1 and 2. Brian Whitney making his way through. He's going to drop down in front of Eli Childs. And that outside lane has diminished rather quickly. I'm going to ride on board with the number 15 machine as he's got Brian Whitney all over his back bumper. As they're doing everything they possibly can. Brian Whitney going to use that side draft to his advantage, get around the number 15. He's got Eli Childs with him, so two well-known and respected drivers on the outside, and now James Harris is going to bounce out to the outside. So James Harris, Brian Whitney, and Eli Childs controlling that outside. Eli's going to drop down to the inside. Doesn't have the momentum that they needed. 79. Stephen Knight going to drop to the outside. Going to see what kind of momentum they can bring up to the top side. But so far has been all Derek Runge so far for the start of this race. 44 laps in the books out of 135. Next week's race gonna go to the West Coast swing, sort of, for the Truck Series. It's gonna be the, I believe it is Las Vegas. Yes, we go Las Vegas next week, 134 laps, and that's gonna be a good track for a lot of these drivers, but so far, so good, as they picked up another driver. 4 drivers out on that outside. They got Clayton White. And then number 44 followed behind the top 3. But not a lot of over-aggressive driving from anybody out here tonight. Still doing what they need to do. .46 laps on in, and still side by side for the majority of this pack is the 79 trying to get up alongside of Larry McDonald here. Side drafting just a little bit, and then moves it on back up to slow his momentum down, but not able to get anywhere. Robbie Lawrence doesn't know which line to go with. Doesn't know if you want to be up top or down on the inside. Goes to the top side, coming up off of the corner. So now you got drivers on both top and bottom. Save of the race so far was Austin Derbyshire back in stage number 1. And you can see it now, that top lane starting to disband. Same as the bottom lane. There's a lot of gaps in that bottom lane as well. James Harris trying to do what he can to make it happen. Currently sitting P2 on that outside with Brian Whitney, who followed right behind him. Kind of keeping an eye on in the middle of the pack. You can see everybody in a camera shot there. Blake Tidwell in that number 35 machine, bringing up the rear of the field. And that's how he was the last week. He stayed towards the back, wasn't really prominent towards the beginning of the race, but towards the end, you started to see that number 35 make the moves to the front of the racetrack. Looking to do the same thing here tonight. So far, so good. Lap number 50 is complete. We're going to lap number 51. 10 more laps to the end of the stage number 2, and then we got the long stage number 3. 55, James Harris going to dip down to the inside. So now the only lonesome truck on that outside is going to be the number 79. Still holding strong next to Eli Childs. Eli Childs is going to be able to get clear of the number 79, and here comes everybody else. 56 looks to make it up to the outside, but he dips down to the inside once again. As Brian Whitney moves himself up to the top. Brian Whitney doing a little bit of side draft on Eli Childs, but not able to get anywhere. Here comes Brad Thacker and the 55 of James Harris. Coming out here strong. Coming around a complete lap number 54. I'm going to go ahead and turn the mics down and turn the engine volumes up and give you guys a little bit of "You Love to Hear It." I'm going to go ahead and make this one a little bit short as we're coming up on the end of stage number 2. And don't look now, there's going to be a battle for the stage win between Derek Runge and John Ward. John Ward making his way up to the outside, trying to make something happen here on stage winner number 1. Side by side, 2 laps to go. John Ward put himself in that good position. Can he get the job done? Last lap for stage number 2, side by side for stage win. Oh, Brian Whitney getting a little bit loose. That's going to jumble him up 3 wide back here with James Harris. Able to make it clear But that top side just disbanded super quick. John Ward is still going to try to make something happen. Larry McDonald's going to go around towards the back. Does he save? He's going to collect a lot of other drivers. Caution flag is out. Oh, man. Going to go ahead and go back to a quick CRN replay. See what happens here. Got to really wind it back here. Give me 1 minute. All right, so we're going to pay attention to the number 80 machine of Larry McDonald. I believe he got a bad bump going into the corner. Oh, no, he just got loose. So no bump at all from the number 80 machine. Just got loose on that outside. And right here goes down into the number 9 of Eli Childs and the number 44 of Clayton White. Eli all the way up to the outside, collects the number 76, the 79. The 56 might have gotten involved. He might have missed it. Yeah, 56 misses it. The 64 is going to be able to miss it. But a lot of hurt race trucks out here tonight. First caution came just, I don't know, probably 400 feet from the finish line. But not the way these drivers wanted to see it happen. It's going to go back to the race on tap. Not sure what happened to the 5 of Robert Lawrence. As he lost the pack there quite early. And just did not have anything, as new race leader is going to be Blake Tidwell. I believe he did not go in. We're actually going to check this. Pit stop lap here for a race winner. Lap number, not race winner. Lap number 32 was the last time that he went in. Actually, no, I believe he went in already. So Clayton White, Robert Lawrence, both on out. Get a look at the pit stop time. So yes, Blake Tidwell did end up staying out. So he's going to probably be behind the bullet here, if I'm not mistaken. But it was good enough to get him up to the front. Derek Runge able to win stage number 2, so he swept the stages, got maximum bonus points, 20 bonus points here tonight. Now it's all about keeping the truck clean and getting through the rest of the race. Blake Tidwell going to lead these drivers off to the green flag, and the green flag is on out. Blake Tidwell, cold tires, gets the best of them, puts the 15 to the outside wall, and caution is out right away. Blake Tidwell didn't, oh man, cold tire effect for the number 35 machine. I know we've seen it live. We're actually going to slow it on down. Oh, he got a big shot from the number 92. Sent him down to the inside, and right there comes right on back on up. gets the 92 again. The 15, nowhere to go. Heavy right side damage for the 15. Probably a broken right front. And just something that you don't really want to see. See the 15 going to slide on by. But a quick yellow flag here tonight. 35 electing not to go down into pit lane. Eli Childs and Brian Whitney in pit lane this time by. Gets some more of that damage fixed here. As I believe once Blake gets caught up to the pace truck, or the pace car, we'll see Blake go down into pit lane this time by, and that we will. So a quick caution right off the jump, and now we know just about what we're looking at for tires. The 79 has a little bit of damage on that front end. 15 having some as well. Clayton White, surprisingly, no damage on that front end after that hard impact with Eli Childs and Brian Whitney. Blake Tidwell coming on down and getting those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Going to fix as much damage as he possibly can. As Zach Henry will be your race leader with John Ward in P number 2. Followed by James Harris in P number 3, Derek Runge in P number 4, and running up to top 5 is going to be Brad Thacker. Highest mover of the race so far is going to be the number 92 of John Ward, Hyper Motorsports 760 Graphics. All the way up to P number 2, up 12 from where he has started. So not a bad day at the office for the number 92 machine. Making his way on up here. Pace lights going to go off this time by. They're going to stack them on up side by side. Going through turns number 1 and 2 as of right now under pace speed. And you can see, I mean, when they did the new configuration, they made the front stretch just a little bit smaller. It's not as wide as it used to be. New walls, they're all green all the way around. And then obviously you can tell that it's new pavement on the racetrack. And you can just see the type of racing that we're seeing here tonight. It's pretty much just side draft and bump draft throughout the whole race. Want to give a big shout out to Brian Haynes and Mardone PC for jumping on board for sponsoring this season with Mardone PC, helping sim racers and real racers prepare for the real life in the sim world. So if you're looking to get in on the action, you can go over to mardonepc.com and get yourself a computer racing rig, wheel, pedals. They got a great Moza bundle set over on www.mardonepc.com. We are back to racing here in the 77. Wasted no time. Got the early lead, got the jump, and that's going to allow the number 492 to drop down to the inside, leaving the number 42 out to lunch on that outside. This may be the farthest we have seen the 42 drop down, but no, James Harris going to drop up to the outside, going to help pull along the number 42 machine. Is Brad Thacker making his way up here to the top. Using that inside lane. Clayton White not having a lot of damage as I thought he did, as he's still running mid-pack. As a product of racing here at Atlanta, still have the 15 and the 9 in the pit lane. Getting those damages fixed. Brian Whitney back out there on the racetrack. In side-by-side, first lap lead of the race is going to be James Harrison, the number 55 machine. As he is up 8 positions. Immediately going to lose that lead to the number 77. But nonetheless, everybody doing what they need to do. John Ward keeping it down on that inside, using that apron to his advantage. Is going to take a ride on board with John Ward. You see it there. John Ward kind of just keeping it chill just behind him. Oh, a little bit offset bump there. Had to back out of it. Was still making it as good as he possibly can. And get a nice little rotation through the tri-oval here down into turn number 1 and 2. So a little bit of a crack of the throttle. Nothing too bad. Austin Derbyshire back here with Reaper Speed Labs following behind the number 42 machine. As we got James Harris as well leading that outside lane. Still doing what they need to do side by side. You got Brad Thacker down on the inside of Austin Derbyshire. And looking off the rear bumper, there you are. You have the number 76 of Brian Whitney. Brian Whitney, not a lot of damage to that number 76 machine. Actually got it pretty much all fixed here. I know he lost his back bumper, but he ended up we're going to ride on board with the number 5 machine of Robbie Lawrence. The 15 of Ted Pullen is back out on track. He's going to keep it all the way up to the outside lane. And it's definitely going to be a little bit of a sketchy moment for a lot of these drivers, as they're going to catch up to Ted Pullen. As luckily they caught him on the backstretch. Ted going to keep it up against the wall. Ended up getting into the wall. As everybody's still side by side for the time being. James Harris gets credited for leading that lap. Still doing what they need to do. Nobody really doing any side draft material out here. Robert Lawrence bringing up almost the rear of the pack here. Steve Knight down on the inside. We're looking at the back bumper of Clayton White. Shopping link, HeidiWolf.Sensi.us if you're looking for anything like that. A nice little plug there for Clayton. Looks like every time they get near that white line going through the tri-oval, it upsets the truck just a little bit. But not enough to where, obviously they're, going to spin out or anything like that. So looking to make it too wide up here towards the front. Looking at the two lonesome Toyotas at the front of this field. And then you got a Ford and then a Chevy. But it looks like the Ford and Toyota combination is going to get the best of the Ford and the Chevy combination this week. Another driver that's not out here is going to be Charles Edwards, Casey Ryback, and Nathan Nicholson not making their way out here tonight. Nice hard shot from the number 42 of Derek Runge to try to catapult James Harris towards the front of this pack once again. Just not able to do so. Going to go ahead and drop on back here to the rest of the field, and there they all go down to the turn number 1 and 2. James Harris kind of keeping that side draft at his disposal. Doesn't want to do it every single lap. As looking at it now, James Harris might have gotten the race lap led there. Not exactly sure. It was super close. Still side by side for maybe the top 11 positions here. Back 3 are going to be single file down on the inside. Still, all these drivers are side by side. Larry McDonald towards the back of this field. It was a really weird sight to see the number 80 machine getting that loose all by himself up on that outside. Didn't see it all race long. Then that final 30-lap stint, lap number 30, coming to take the next stage, and just ended up stepping out on him. See all these drivers. We're going to see what kind of speeds that a lot of these drivers are going to be hitting. Here, we're going to go ahead and show the dashboard down to the bottom right-hand corner. 3 wide through the middle goes Derek Runge, leaving James Harris out to dry. So move Derek Runge up to P number 2 for the time being. He's got to have Austin Derbyshire get on his back bumper and help him push to get that lead back that he has lost so far. But 3 wide maneuver there on the front stretch from the number 42 machine. And he made it work. So look at about 180 mile an hour towards the back here. Look at about 177. Oh, the 64 getting a little bit loose. He's going to smack the outside wall. Going to keep it on up there. Let everybody go on by. Not really what you want to see. Looking up here, number 56 for Brad Thacker. Leading that inside charge in the 4th position, the 42. Up on the outside, now does James Harris return the favor? They're sideways, they're bumping and they're banging. And they're 4 wide right behind Brad. Caution, the flag is going to come on out. As a little bit of netcode played into factor for this one. Going to go ahead and go on back to a quick CRN replay and get it slowed down here between Brad and the number 42. As you see there, the 56 down on the inside, the 42 on the outside. And I believe Derek thought the 56 was going to be a little bit lower than what he had thought. Started turning in at the corner. Oh yeah, big net code. Stuck those two drivers together. 42 hard on the outside wall. 56, beautiful driving to save that. Brian Whitney and James Harris not going to run him on over. Derek Runge able to keep it clean. Go ahead, let this play full throttle. And then right in front of them, they were 4 wide, but a caution did ended up coming out. Caution flag here tonight. A lot of these drivers going to come on down and get 4 fresh feel goods, get some of that damage repaired, like Austin Derbyshire getting that damage repaired from the earlier contact. You're going to see what kind of contact Derek Runge ended up having. He's still in the pit lane. You can see that front bumper still kind of caved in there. Not the way that you wanted to see the number 42's day go after sweeping both stages. He's going to sit in the pit lane and get that damage fixed as best as he possibly can. .42 still sitting on a pit lane. Not sure exactly how much damage he has. Coming on out before the pace car gets caught back up with him. That's going to allow the 77 to get the race lead. Side by side, looking down. Taylor Henry rooting on Zach Henry here tonight. Want to give Zach a big shout out there. So, Zach, if you're listening or if you're watching, Taylor out there is rooting for you to get the race done here tonight. Pace car going to go down this time by Zach and John Ward. Going to lead these drivers to the green flag. Got to go in their restart zone. Going to see what kind of restart Zach Henry decides to take this time. He left the field last time. Green flag is out. 55 of James Harris not getting the restart that he wanted to get. He's going to back up to the number 5 machine of Robbie Lawrence. And these two, John Ward and the number 77, kind of pulling away from the pack, but it's going to be short-lived as these two going to bump draft all the way around the track, going to give a little bit of room between the bumpers there. And Clayton White up 8 positions from where he has started, sitting P number 3. As they're side by side behind Clayton White, and that's what I was talking about, short-lived clean air. Is the pack going to catch back up to the top 2 leaders of tonight's race? Now, where do you go with that run? Clayton White going to stay down to the inside. Might bounce it up to the outside. Was thinking about it. Didn't want to take away the run from the number 55 of James Harris. Still doing what they need to do. James Harris trying to do what he can to get around the number 44, but not able to do so. Here comes the 56 of Brad Thacker down to the inside. He's going to keep it off that red line. And he's going to lose a lot of momentum there. The 55 going to be able to get clear of Brad Thacker back here. Is Robbie Lawrence able to? No, he's not. James Harris going to drop down to the inside. Luckily for Robbie Lawrence, he did have a little bit of help with that number 64 machine. But the 64 dropping down to the inside, he's going to let him go on by. Does he fill the gap? Does Larry let him in? No, he does not. So Robbie Lawrence going to drop all the way back to the back once again. The number 5 machine just wants to keep the truck as clean as he possibly can, and that's what he's going to do. So Robbie Lawrence finally gets in line after losing a bunch of spots. Steve Knight out here on that inside. James Harris and Clayton White up to the outside lane. Doing what they can, and here comes John Ward to the outside. John with a beautiful run. Gonna take away the race lead. Can he get clear of the number 77? He does. Think he's waiting. No, he's not going to wait. He's going to drop down to the inside. Clayton White now going to be leading that outside charge. Is Clayton White getting alongside of the number 77. Another thing that I forgot to mention here tonight, these are all open setups. So these drivers can adjust anything and everything on the truck as needed. It's not a fixed set where the only thing you can do is brake bias and tires. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do on the fixed set of things. Open setups, it opens up everything for your disposal. Side by side for P number 2, John Ward sitting at P number 1, getting some laps led here, up 13 positions from where he has started. But here comes Clayton White. He's going to be side by side with our race leader. Going to drop back just a little bit. Coming up on lap 100. One more time around and we'll have 35 laps to go. So everybody going to do what they need to do and get this race up and going and get it into the books. Are we going to see a last lap pass for the race win? Or is the draft not as strong as we would think? We'll know that in 36 laps time. As Clayton White gets a really good shot from the number 55 machine. You can see it there. He's all over that back bumper trying to make something happen. Just not able to do so. Is John Ward still with the race lead here tonight. First start in the NIS Truck Series. Looking at it now, Clayton White gets such a good run down the front stretch and back stretch. It's just in the corners. That's where they start to lose that little bit of time. But, you know, you never want to give up. You know, 1 minute you may be able to get there. As Clayton's there now, side by side with the race leader, going to pinch him down just a little bit. and maybe keep the momentum up to where they stay side by side all the way through. Can't tell now, but they are side by side. Clayton is there. One more good corner, and Clayton could potentially have the race lead here coming off of turn number 4. Can he get it done? No, they're still going to be side by side. 31.086 for our race leader, so still in the 30s and 31 second lap range. As everybody's still trying to do what they possibly can, but a little bit of momentum lost. I believe these drivers are going to have to go down into pit lane one more time before the end of this race. Could potentially see green flag pit stops. I would think once we see them all go single file, they're going to see green flag pit stops, but that may not be the case. Top 3 single file. Clayton White losing a little bit of time. Clayton White get a little bit loose there, able to save it. Coming up on some lap traffic of Brian Whitney. Doing what he can to keep it almost. A little bit of a side stripe there from the number 55 to the number 76. Austin Derbyshire making his way back up here towards the front. He's going to get around the number 44 of Clayton White. Looking a little bit loose there in that number 64 machine, though. Into turn number 3 and 4. Still side by side. Stephen Knight is currently sitting P number 3. Robbie Lawrence making his way up here towards the front once again, looking possibly making it 3 wide, does not. Going to fall in line with the number 44. Larry McDonald making his way back up here to P number 4. After that stage 1 incident. Coming to the end of stage 1 incident. Clayton White get a little bit loose. He's going to take it way outside. 3 wide through the middle. Robbie Lawrence. Clayton White just going to burp the throttle just a little bit. Let him get on by. Top 6. Single file. While we have another great green flag run, we'll give you the last segment of the You Love to Hear It, where we turn the mics down, turn the engines up, and let you guys hear the beautiful sounds of these NASCAR trucks rolling around the field. And we'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the last little segment of You Love to Hear It. While we were gone, we did have a lead change. We have the number 77 up into P number 1. Using that outside lane to his advantage to get around the John Ward. John Ward trying to get that lead back. Just not able to do so here. Just kind of riding around. Coming to 8 laps to go here at Atlanta. So far, top 3 single file, actually top 4, is Austin Derbyshire made his way up to the top of the boards. Here comes Ted Pullen. Not going to be on the lead lap as he is 7 laps down. And then you got James Harris along with Brian Whitney. There we go. Couldn't think of the name. Knew the number, just couldn't think of the name. Austin Derbyshire bouncing it to the outside aggressively. Going to try to put 2 wide for P number 3, but here comes James Harris down to the inside. He's going to take P number 4 away if he can get clear. No help behind the number 55, but here comes Brad Thacker. He's going to make a run for it. Here comes the number 64 up on the outside, trying to keep side by side with James Harris. Pretty much you got the whole pack under a microscope up here towards the front. 6 laps to go here at Atlanta. If anybody has not punched their ticket or grabbed the popcorn to see an exciting finish, you have 6 laps to do it. It's going to be a great finish. Hopefully side by side for the race win. As I think John Ward's just trying to eye up any type of run that he can get. As of right now, he knows that he's going to need some help as they're 3 wide. Robbie Lawrence taking it to the middle. Just a power move. Austin Derbyshire getting a little bit loose there. Able to hold on to it. Is James Harris going to jump up top in front of Austin? Now you got 4 cars on the outside trying to make something happen. Just not able to do so. Blake Tidwell back there. Robbie Lawrence looking to the outside and nobody's home. Top 3 stayed the same. James Harris sitting P number 4. Big shot from the number 64. Brad Thacker trying to do what he can to get around James Harris. John Ward trying to do the same exact thing. 3 laps to go. Austin Derbyshire looking a little bit loose, getting into corner entry. Got to bring that attention back up here to the top. See what's going to happen between these 2 drivers. John Ward to his outside, going to try to make the pass happen. Big shot by the number 55, going to propel him up to the top. Who's it going to be? 2 laps to go here at Atlanta. A little bit of a struggle bus for that top shelf, not really making it happen. John Ward still going to be side by side. White flag out this time by. John Ward's going to have to get as close to that quarter panel as he possibly can. Stephen Knight going to push him. Big shot again by the number 55. He's not going to lift this time. Side by side through 3 and 4. An inch between the 2. Here comes Stephen Knight. He's going to slow up the top side. First is going to be Zach Henry. Second is going to be Stephen Knight. And third is going to be John Ward. Just an absolute phenomenal finish there, side by .001 for 3rd place between John Ward and Stephen Knight. Just an absolute beautiful race from The last caution to the checkered flag. Everybody making it happen, but it's going to be this man right here, Zach Henry, getting the race win in the number 77 machine. We weren't able to talk to him last week, but now we get to talk to him here tonight as he does his donuts here on the front stretch in a star-studded pack here tonight. So while we get our race winner doing his burnouts, we're going to go ahead and bring up the race results here. Race results are going to be Zach Henry with the race win here tonight. Steve Knight getting the race, finishing at P number 2. Third is going to be John Ward. Third is going to be John Ward. Fourth is going to be James Harris. Fifth will be Brad Thacker. Sixth is going to be Austin Derbyshire. Seventh is going to be Robert Lawrence. Eighth will be Clayton White. Ninth is going to be Blake Tidwell. 10th is going to be Derek Runge. 11th will be Larry McDonald. 12th is going to be Ted Pullen. 13th will be Brian Whitney. 14th is going to be Eli Childs. While we get this all going, we're going to go ahead and bring in our third place finisher. That's going to be John Ward. So go ahead and get these laps rolled on back here. Grab our third place. We do not have a camera set. Okay. Thought I had a camera set up, but I do not. So we'll go ahead and grab our third place finisher here. The number 9. There he is. John Ward, this is Dylan in the broadcast booth for CRN. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, John, you led the majority of that third stage, but coming around, you ended up having the number 77 get around you there and just couldn't get back to him until about 2 laps to go. You made it side by side, but Stephen Knight kind of threw a wrench in your plans there towards the end.
Yeah. We had a good run. The 77 was that he was real fast. I know it was going to be between me or him. I was trying to save tires. I had a new setup under me, and it felt really good. I was just mainly saving tires, going to wait for the end there. But we had a good run. On the high side, you had to really, really dig and have help, and I didn't have too much help there. But he did really good. I had nothing for him there at the end. He done a really good job, and we came home with third, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, he came home with P number 3. I thought there for a second you were going to have P number 2, but Stephen Knight able to edge you out by .0001. It was right there. But, you kept the truck clean. You made your first official start here in the NIS Truck Series. You got Las Vegas next week, another kind of a draft-dependent track, but a lot more stuff that you could do to the truck while you're racing, like in-race adjustments after pit stops. What's it going to be like next week to keep that number 92 out of trouble and keep it up towards the front?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Vegas is one of my better tracks. We'll see what happens. I don't really run open setups, but I got a good team and all. They're going to hook me up with what I need. And like you said, I'm going to have to make some adjustments during the race to try to get it right. And we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited about the series and all, and I'm having fun.
Yeah, having fun that you are. But, John, before we let you get on out of here and celebrate that third-place finish, if there's any sponsors or anybody out there you want to give a shout-out to, the floor is yours.
Hyper Motorsports, they always do a good job. You guys for putting on the event and everything, and the broadcasters for doing a good job. It's always good to do a race with a broadcast and watch it. So just thank all y'all for everything you do, and I look forward to doing more races.
All right, John, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, celebrate that third-place finish here tonight, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, this is going to be our third-place finisher of John Ward. I'm going to go ahead and move up to our second-place finisher. That's going to be Steve Knight. Steve, this is Dylan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. How you doing?
I'm doing fairly well. Steve, you ran pretty much a clean race all night long, stayed out of all the trouble in the melee. Obviously, you started P3 on the field, finished second here tonight. What was kind of going through your mind there towards the end of that race?
Well, it would have been nice if the three of us got away and we just raced each other, but that second lane showed up. It was fun. I didn't really have anywhere to go, so I just pushed the truck in front of me.
Yeah, now, was there a big difference from, obviously, you go from a plate track of Daytona last week to Atlanta. Was the off-centered bumps a little bit different than what you would see at a plate track, or were you just trying to keep it as straight as possible, trying to give the car in front of you a push?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep it straight. This track was way more intense than Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, that I can assure you is the
I'm
same
sweating
thing.
over here.
I was going to say, high speed all the way through. Noticed a little bit of blip in the throttle going into the corner. You like I said earlier, you missed most of the melee. You got a little bit of damage on the front end, but nonetheless, you still bring it home in a P2. Vegas next week. What's it going to be like for the number 79 camp?
Let's go. Vegas is fun. It's going to be a night race, I believe. Should be fast and furious.
All right, Steve, before we let you get on out of here, is there anybody out there that is supporting you on that truck that you'd like to give a shout out to? The floor is yours.
Sure, man. Maybe my buddies Chad and Bobby are watching. If so, hey, guys, came in P2. I'll take it. I had a lot of fun tonight.
All right, Steve, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, celebrate that second place race win here tonight, and we'll be talking to you hopefully again next week.
Sure. See you. Thanks.
All right, this is going to be our second place finisher of Steven Knight. I'm going to go ahead and get our race winner in the broadcast booth here momentarily. And that is going to be the number 77 of Zach Henry. Zach, this is Dylan in the CRN broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, Zach, you pretty much led from start to finish other than, obviously pushing the 42 around for the first two stages, but it seemed like once you got that number 77 out to the front, there was no going back.
Yeah, it was feeling pretty good. It was fun working with Derek there. After that first stage, I just kind of looked down, noticed he was also sitting in a chat by himself, and I thought, it wouldn't hurt for us to team up for at least this race, and you never know what can happen in the future. But yeah, the truck was fast. I felt like I could really kind of pull a line, and I felt like I was able to push just fine as well.
Yeah, you were there when you needed to be there. You made the move on a John Ward. Were able to get clear of him, and it seemed like there for a little bit the top lane was just good enough to get one truck by. You couldn't get both trucks by, so once you got clear of that inside lane, you had to drop down to secure that position. But what was going through your mind those final couple laps once John Ward started making that push to the outside?
So I was kind of watching the outside line that entire last run and seeing who was leading it, what they were doing, and how much momentum they could build depending on who was leading that line. When he jumped out to the front, I felt very confident with SC pushing me on the bottom line. He was pushing me a little bit there, here and there throughout the race, and I felt very comfortable with him behind me. And like you just said, the outside line just wasn't all that efficient for whatever reason today. So I wasn't overly worried about it. Just had to kind of watch when they would get the momentum, and once he pulled out behind me and tried to start leading that top line, I actually felt pretty good.
Now, towards the end of that run, where you get a little bit loose with the tires being a little bit worn, I seen a couple of drivers like Larry in Austin, Derbyshire, both get a little bit loose running that top side. Both of them putting themselves into the wall or causing that late race caution there to the end of the stage. What was the truck kind of feeling like towards the end of their stages?
Oh, the thing felt great. I don't know if it was just because I was, towards the front, in that first, second row the entire race. But, when I was pushing people, I was, 3/4 throttle maybe most of the way around the track. And I was lifting early, trying to make sure I'm saving that right rear a little bit so I'm not going to be super loose on the back end. But it felt great. I really didn't have that loose feeling at all at any point. I pushed a little bit going into turn 3, but aside from that, truck was phenomenal.
All right, well, Zach, you had some supporters out there, Taylor, saying, let's go, Henry. But before I let you get on out of here, is there anybody on that number 77 you'd like to give a big shout-out to, or any sponsors you'd like to plug? The floor is yours.
Well, I always got to shout out my wife, Taylor. She watches every time she can, and, big supporter, and I'm happy she lets me do these kinds of things because I have a blast doing it. Gonna shout out Derek as well. Once again, it was fun, a lot of fun racing with him, and I wish we both could have been there at the end and really kind of raced it out. But it's cool to have him as like a teammate for today. And then you for doing these broadcasts. I look forward to rewatching this one. I assume you got the STK stuff up and running this time around.
Oh yeah.
But even with all the difficulties last week, I thought you did a great job kind of navigating what you had at Daytona, and I look forward to rewatching that.
All right, Zach, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, celebrate that race win here tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again next week.
That sounds good. You have a good night.
All right, buddy. That's going to do it for our race winner here tonight, Zachary Henry, getting the race win here tonight at Atlanta. 134 laps up and 134 laps down here tonight. A lot of racing all the way throughout this pack. Like you heard the driver say, the race winner say, the outside lane worked for just a little bit. Got one truck past, and then he had to drop it out of the inside. But it was bottom lane dominant. Next week, we got Las Vegas on tap. 134 laps is the distance for that race. Can't wait to see what these drivers can do all the way throughout the race here next week. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to CRN. It helps us navigate to our next benchmark of 1,000 subscribers. It's been almost 2 years since CRN has been around. Carl Hedwerk and Jimmy Covert starting the CRN brand and brought me on as their kind of been there since the beginning, and one of the best times that I've had. I kind of like broadcasting more than I like racing as of right now, so I try to do as much as I possibly can. But tomorrow, Sunday night, you're going to have the Core Premier Series Pro 4s at Richmond for the Midseason Classic. That's going to be sponsored by Kevin Foster. So money is going to be up for grabs for Core Racing League's Premier Series season number 11. I'll be down on the track for that one as I'll make my second start after last week at Talladega. Monday night, don't believe we're going to have any broadcast on Monday night, but Tuesday night we're going to see the I don't think there's anything on Tuesday night either. As of right now, Wednesdays, we are going to have Smoky Mountain Grassroots Racing, Casual Racing League, and Lucky Dog Championship Racing next week. 3 streams, all on one night. Myself and Ricky Gonzalez in the broadcast booth at New Smyrna for the Tour Mods. Joe and Carl Hedwerk in the broadcast booth for the Casual Racing League, and then Derek Sherman and Jimmy Covert in the broadcast booth for the Smoky Mountains Grassroots Limited Late Model Stock. Late Model Stock Car League on Wednesday night. Thursday night, you're going to see the Core GT Series make their return back onto the track with John Nobinger in the broadcast booth. Friday night, don't believe there's any broadcasts going on for CRN. And then we're back here Saturday night with the NIS Truck Series here on a CRN. It's been an absolute pleasure being the broadcaster here tonight. Can't wait to see what next week unfolds. But that's going to do it for myself in the broadcast booth. My name is Dylan McDonald for CRN. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.